More now of our Campaign 2020 coverage. CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell joins us live now. And Norah, the Evening News usually broadcasts from Washington, D.C., but you've been in New York City, specifically in Times Square for the last few days. Tell us how the studio and the technology you have will help CBS News coverage stand out this year.
And good evening to you, Lauren. That's right. We're going to have unprecedented election night coverage, technology that we've never had before, and we're able to share all of the data and numbers with all of our viewers, state by state, all the key battleground states like Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia. We could go on. There are about 6 to 9 states. We were calling them the notable 9 on the CBS Evening News and on election night that we're really going to focus in on. And we're going to have data, I mean, county by county. So, for instance, like in Florida, we can zero right into Miami-Dade. We can give you analysis about the vote count there. We can get our exit polls to find out how older voters, seniors voted, Latinos, suburban women throughout the state of Florida. So we'll have so much data at our fingertips like never before, so that people can get a sense early in the night just the way this election may be headed or not. And I should say, we are also trying to let everybody know, have patience. You know, there have been very few times throughout our nation's history that we've been able to call an election before midnight. And given that there have already been almost 100 million people throughout America who have voted early, it's going to take some time. Not necessarily a state like Florida, you guys have got it down now, but certainly in a state like Pennsylvania, which is not going to count those early votes until Election Day, it's going to take a little bit more time in Pennsylvania and some of the upper Midwest states like Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of lessons learned from past elections here in Florida. Norah, you said it yourself, calling this unprecedented. So how does CBS News approach its coverage plan for such an unpredictable election?
Well, we want to break it down for everybody. I mean, first of all, never before have we had a presidential election in the midst of a coronavirus and in the midst of now what is a second spike, where we're averaging about 100,000 new cases nationally a day. That affects how we're all voting, how we're all living. It affects our job and economic status. It affects us because many people can't send their children to school or can't be with their elderly parents or elderly loved ones. And so that really is something we're going to be looking at. Does that change the way people vote this year? How does it change? We know it's changed the way people mail in their ballots. So giving that certain context, especially. And then also the economic changes that will happen. Joe Biden is proposing a much different economic plan. He's proposing to get another stimulus passed so that people can have more money in their pockets while we're dealing with this. And at the same time, he is proposing more taxes for people who make over $400,000 a year. Contrast that with the Donald Trump message. So all of that is part of our coverage tonight. And I should also note there's one other big storyline that we are covering on election night, and that's control of the United States Senate. The Republicans already control the United States Senate. There's a real chance that Democrats could win back 4 or 5 seats and take control. That would dramatically change the direction of this country, whether Donald Trump is reelected or whether Joe Biden becomes the next president.
Not just about that presidential race, that's for sure, Norah. So obviously you said to have patience. We're all going to need that tomorrow, no doubt. But what's your feeling? How long do you think we might have to wait for those results? If you had a crystal ball, what would you say?
You know, look, I think it's going to take some time. I think, you know, if one of those early states that Trump held in 2016, like a North Carolina, a Georgia, or a Florida, starts leaning towards Joe Biden, then it's going to be a different kind of night. If Donald Trump can hold on to those big states, then we're going to have to wait till we get in the vote count in the upper Midwest, those states I mentioned. We're going to have to wait for Texas. We're going to have to wait for Arizona and Nevada a little later. And then Pennsylvania. There is a scenario in which this whole kit and caboodle can come down to the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. And that really may take us till Friday or Saturday till we get the full vote in, because they're only going to start counting those almost 3 million absentee ballots starting tomorrow. And so that's why I say, let's wait. But remember, that does not mean that there is fraud. That does not mean that the election is rigged. It just means this is just so many people who wanted their voices and their votes counted. And so we are going to take the time and do that. And there'll be plenty of stuff to talk about in between. And the other X factor out there is, will people stay calm and hopefully be peaceful if there is any sort of protest, nonviolent, and let's get through this. This is the greatest country in the world for a reason. We can raise our voices without engaging in violence.
All right, Norah O'Donnell, looking forward to your coverage tomorrow and throughout the week ahead. Thank you so much.